Hello and welcome back to X-Plane with me, James. Today is going to be the first episode in our exploring series, and today we are going to be exploring Paris. As you can see, I'm right here in Charles de Gaulle Airport, which is LFPG. We are going to be flying southwest today. We're going to fly over Paris-Le Bourget. I'm not French, I don't speak French, so I'm going to butcher most of these pronunciations. So I do apologise in advance for that. But from that airport, we're then going to continue southwest to just basically fly over Paris. We're going to follow the river all the way through, well, as much as we can. And yeah, just see the sights sort of thing. And then when we've done that, we are then going to fly down and shoot a landing at LFPO, which is Paris-Orly, and that is on the south side of Paris. So let's get started. We jump into our plane here. I've already got the flight plan sorted so that when we've finished flying around, we can just go straight into the airport, get us started up. So I think we're all ready. We just need mixture, a little bit of throttle, make sure the parking brake is engaged. I think it is, yep. And then we'll start the engines. Okay, engines look good. We've got our alternators on. Let's check the MD-82 and find out where he is. Okay, so it looks like he's going to be coming down right to the end taxiway, maybe, before beginning his takeoff. So I'm going to roll on down there, wait for the MD-82 to take off, and then I'll bring you guys back. Okay, so the MD-82 has just taken off. You can see him over there in the distance, just beginning his turn. We have lined up and we are waiting on runway 08. I just need to bring my camera down, because on this airplane you can't hide the yoke. So turn our taxi lights off and get our landing lights on. We'll also chuck our strobe on at this point, and then come back up. There is an easier hotkey, I know, but I can't remember it right now. We're going to get our flaps down one notch, like so, and I believe we are ready for takeoff. So bring my view down a little bit, take the brakes off, and ease up the RPM. There we go, takeoff power set. There's our rotation speed. Up we come nice and easily. I'm going to fly runway heading for a little bit. Bring our gear up. And then we're going to make a turn out to the right here so that we can head southwest and fly over Paris-Le Bourget Airport. Again, I'm going to be butchering the pronunciations. Right, let's get our flaps up at this point. Try and build up a little bit of airspeed. I don't know how high I'm going to go, probably about 2,000 feet to begin with. And then as we actually get into the city of Paris, we'll start reducing that, so we can get a bit better view. Right, we're clear of the airport, so we're going to go ahead and turn over to our southwest. We're just about approaching 2,000 feet. There we go. Right, so on this heading, we should be good for flying over the Paris-Le Bourget Airport. Oh no, I need to turn right a little bit. I'm going to fly over there and show you guys the scenery. I hope you enjoy. Right, there we go. So there is the Paris-Le Bourget Airport. And I was actually quite surprised at just how close it is to Charles de Gaulle. You'd think that like the air traffic around here is going to be crazy, because you're not going to be able to take off from here at the same time as landing. Maybe they're far enough apart. I'm not quite, I don't know if this is a 1-to-1 scale or if they've sort of shrunk the distances, but yeah, this seems like a bit strange to have two airports right next to each other and a massive train station down there. Look at that, look at all the trains, so many of them. Wow. Not sure there's that many there in real life, because I know a lot of the train stations in the game depicted in London are a lot bigger than what they should be. But this is basically Paris, or X-Plane's representation of Paris. This is the river that runs straight through the city. So I'm going to fly down over here. There should be the stadium somewhere over here. What's its real name? The Stade de France should be here. I'm not sure that X-Plane renders it. I think it's just like an empty patch of ground. But we'll have a look for it as we fly over. And yeah, I'll bring you guys back when we pick up on the river. Okay, we're back on the river now. The game is having a bit of trouble, it seems, keeping up with the number of objects. I might have to adjust it. We seem to be okay for now. I'm getting a few stutters every now and again. It doesn't seem to be that bad. The stadium was just a blank bit of ground. Hopefully you will have seen that in the little speedy up time-lapsey bit. But yeah, basically this is Paris, or like I said before, X-Plane's depiction of Paris. I've learned a little bit about X-Plane in the way it does things. So it actually uses OpenStreetMaps. And that's how it gets all of its scenery generation, basically. They plug in the map and then they put the scenery generation to work, and it basically does its magic. So I'm hoping that modders might be able to adjust that scenery, those scenery files as they are, and put in a load of different textures and maybe put, you know, even custom objects into the world. Because they must be able to do it, because they've done it with airports. They've built all those as custom and placed them in. So in theory you could do all of the world's landmarks, model them and then put them into the game. That might be interesting. I do want to just take this time to thank everyone for watching these videos. It's been like massively successful compared to what I thought it was ever going to be. The channel has grown really quickly, so I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone watching these videos, everyone liking, commenting. Yeah, we've had such great conversations in the comments. It's been fantastic. I just want to thank you very, very much. But anyway, as we're flying down the river, I noticed when I flew through here on like my little test flight, there's loads of islands in the middle of this river, which I think is a bit weird. I'm not sure if that's natural or if we've had anything to do with it. I imagine it's probably natural, but it is quite strange. I've not seen a river that just randomly has islands all the way through it, sort of as many and as large as we have here. It might just be like the ground is more suited to it. There might be bands of soft rock, and that's what allows the river to cut through. But it is quite strange. We are coming round... Oh, this is going to be an interesting one to pronounce. Billancourt? I probably got that completely wrong. Basically, it's the first sort of major left-hand bend in the river. And then when we come out of this left-hand bend, we will see where the Eiffel Tower should be. Unfortunately, X-Plane's depiction is just a little mound of dirt, which... You know, I think it might be a little bit offensive, but this is supposed to be like a big park area. I won't say the name because I'll only butcher it, but yeah, basically there's a university around here, and it's like a big natural area in Paris, which seems quite nice. So I'm going to continue my flight along and show you a quick time-lapse of the area, and then I'll bring you guys back when we get into the more sort of touristy central Paris area. Well, there we go. So there's the corner in the river, and like I mentioned, we are now approaching the sort of the centre of Paris, the tourist destinations, if you like. I will know, I've never actually been to Paris. I'd like to go at some point. It's not massively high on the list, but I think I'd like to visit and just go there just once. Now, the game is having serious problems with frame rate. I think a bit of optimization still needs to happen. I've tried reducing my airspeed just to hopefully not load as many textures at the same time. So we'll see how that goes. I think it is just basically the number of objects on the screen it's trying to render. It's just killing it. Which does make sense, because I do have it set to maximum, and the other settings on it are quite high. So, in a moment, we should be approaching the Eiffel Tower. Got loads of bridges over the river here. Looks like the Thames, basically. Obviously, apart from, again, we've got a little island in the middle here. And then at the end of this island, on our right-hand side, we should see the little mound of dirt. I would love to see bigger buildings. Obviously, the centre of Paris just isn't going to be these tiny little houses. There's going to be skyscrapers. There's going to be massively tall buildings. So the one thing that this game is missing is sort of height in terms of buildings. I'm not sure if maybe some of the US countries and cities, US states and cities are better rendered. But anyways, this is where the Eiffel Tower should be, and obviously the gardens that sit out front of it. Like I mentioned, it is just a mound of dirt in X-Plane, but, you know, I guess when you think about it, all of the raw materials started out as probably a pile of dirt and rock. But hopefully at some point modders can put in a proper depiction of the Eiffel Tower. Now we're going to roll through the right-hand bend here, and then we're going to get to the palace, I believe. Or where the palace should be, I think is right around there, where the mouse is just now. That should be where the palace is. And then as we look inland, we should see, this is where some museums should be. But again, obviously not rendered. And then up here on the left, just before we get to this little island, should be the Louvre on the left. So that'll be in this area here. This game does look very good, but like I've mentioned before, they just need more different models, different height of models. Of buildings. So we've got this little island here. I imagine in real life this would be much more densely populated with buildings. On the map that I'm looking at, it does look very crammed in. Whereas here, obviously, there's lots of green space everywhere. There should be a university over on the right. Maybe there, or potentially in this area over here, looking at it. Seems to be a lot of universities around. That's pretty much it as far as all of the touristy destinations go. So I'm going to continue to fly down the river, but we're going to head towards our destination airport of Paris-Orly, which is LFPO. So, I will join you guys when we are ready for our visual approach. Okay, so just lies ahead of us is LFPO Airport. So I'm going to bring our speed down and we're going to get onto a left downwind, and then we're going to turn a left base to come in for a landing on which runway it is going to be. Doesn't say. For some reason I've lost all of the runway names. I've got no idea why. I'm assuming it's going to be like 06. And, oh, I wasn't paying attention to what I'm doing. But yeah, we're going to enter a left downwind, and then we're going to spin around, do a left base, and try and land on that runway. We're just doing a visual approach. I don't see any reason to fly out and do a massively long ILS approach. So I've managed to drift out quite a long way. Just going to try and bring myself back. I haven't yet researched in this plane what the flap and gear speeds are. Just going to try and bring my speed a long way back. Get one notch of flap. That'll help bleed off our airspeed. We're still a bit high, we're about 1900 feet. When I turn my base, I think I want to be about 800 in this plane. Oh, it must be below our gear speed, because we're getting the gear up warning. Get our second notch of flaps. It's quite a big airport out here in the south of France, which again is quite surprising, seeing as you've got Charles de Gaulle all the way up in the north end of Paris. I know I said in the south end of France, I meant Paris. Okay, I think I've started reducing my airspeed a little bit too quickly, maybe. I'm still not great at visual landings. I'm very much still learning to fly in this game. But we're about 800 feet, which is where I said I wanted to be. Whether that's the correct altitude or not, I've got no idea. But let's begin turning a very short final. Didn't quite get a tight enough turn. Oh wow, this is a horrible landing. I'm sorry guys, I really am. Try and correct it. Flare. Oh wow, okay. Horrible landing. I think I've got a bit of practicing to do. I'm rather rusty. But in any case, that has been the first episode of my exploring series. We looked at Paris today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. If you haven't already, you can subscribe, and I would really appreciate if you leave a like on the video. It helps out me, helps out the channel. And yeah, I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.